Matthew Judon trade winners, losers and grades. How did Patriots, Falcons fare in deal? It seemed like a significant NFL trade has been brewing for weeks. Wednesday evening, one finally went down, but it didn't involve the player many had anticipated. The New England Patriots are offloading LB Matthew Judon, who will turn 32 on Thursday, to the Atlanta Falcons for a 2025 third-round draft pick, per multiple reports. Judon, who could make up to $7.5 million in the final season of a four-year, $54.5 million deal, has been seeking an extension. It remains to be seen if he'll get one, but that's no impediment to assessing the winners and losers of this swap nor rendering early grades to each of the clubs involved. For a reasonable expense, they get the established pass rusher they've been hunting for years. Judon, a four-time Pro Bowler, collecting 28 sacks between the 2021 and 22 seasons before missing most of last year with a biceps injury. The Falcons haven't had a player reach double-digit sacks in a campaign since Vic Beasley had 15.5 in 2016. No Atlanta player has had as many as 7 in any of the past 4 seasons. Whether or not he immediately gets the new money he wants, still time for a fulfilling birthday, bud. He at least lands in what appears to be a more favorable competitive situation with Atlanta. A team that looks ready to win in 2024 and likely more able to showcase Judon's ability for whomever his 2025 employer is. Like the Falcons, they've acquired a disgruntled edge player, Haason Reddick in the NYJ's case, one who wants a new bag in his walk year. But after sending a conditional 2026 third-rounder to the Philadelphia Eagles for Reddick, 29, a younger and more productive player than Judon, maybe the Jets don't look like such dummies after being pilloried for a marriage they've so far failed to consummate since acquiring Reddick, on April Fool's Day. Maybe they can learn something from the way the Falcons handled Judon's arrival. Or maybe misery will just wind up having some company. New Executive Vice President of Player Personnel Elliot Wolf and HC Jared Mayo sent a message in year one, post-Bill Belichick, sending a clear message to their team by excising a disaffected veteran who was seen engaging Mayo in an animated discussion during practice 2 weeks ago. Good as Judon had been for the Pats, hard to believe he was going to help them contend in 2024, and moving him eliminates what had become a major distraction. Wolf and company handed out quite a few extensions this year to retain mid-tier players like O.L. Mike Onwenu, T. Hunter Henry, and W.R. Kendrick Bourne. Seems something of a miscalculation that they didn't anticipate an issue with Judon, arguably the franchise's best player in the post-Tom Brady era as well as a respected leader, too. Also, not a great look getting a draft pick, nice as a third-rounder is, that could have accelerated this rebuild 4 months ago. NFC South. A division that's seen the Falcons bunched fairly close to the New Orleans Saints and Tampa Bay Buccaneers in recent seasons might be witnessing something of a separation from Atlanta, which notably signed QB Kirk Cousins in the offseason, before drafting QB Michael Penix Jr. in round 1, to finally address the void that had lingered behind center since Matt Ryan's departure after the 2021 season. And new HC Raheem Morris, who spent most of his career working on the defensive side of the ball, probably has the personality to connect with Judon as well as the coaching chops to figure out how to optimally deploy him. Brandon Ayuk and Haason Reddick. Judon got the change of address that might lead to the payday he desires, whenever that might be. Meanwhile, Ayuk, the San Francisco 49ers budding wideout, continues to hold an awaiting resolution, whether via extension and/or trade, to his situation. Reddick, meanwhile, remains a holdout with his new team, the Jets, and can now cross off Atlanta as a possible rescuer after he recently demanded a trade out of the New York market. But hey, maybe the Judon transaction opens the trade floodgates. New England Patriots 2024 outlook. It wasn't great to begin with, the league's longest-running dynasty already staring at the prospect of consecutive last-place finishes in the AFC East. Judon's exit only dims the outlook of a defense that's also lost emergent DT Christian Barmore, blood clots, indefinitely. Matt Judon trade grades. Atlanta Falcons B. The deal marks a pretty nice recovery for a team that was widely expected to use the 8th overall pick of the 2024 draft on a pressure player before shockingly opting for Penix. Judon's arrival appears to be a very nifty stopgap. If GM Terry Fontenot manages to extend Judon, this grade might bump up to an A given the compensatory cost, perhaps a low round 3 slot, 2, if the Falcons do reach postseason, though it could also drop significantly if Judon opts for the Reddick